There's one of our sisters that's going to tell everyone why a lot of teachers are quitting, and they're quitting in record numbers. Let's go ahead and roll that.
So I'm a teacher and I am leaving work almost 2 hours early because of suffering and being threatened by a student. Let's talk about why so many teachers are quitting the profession. I have never dealt with such unruly, crazy, traumatic experiences in my life. No matter how kind you are, how loving, how intelligent you are as a teacher, how cool you are, how great you dress, you are always going to have students who need to be worked on at home. And because they don't have any work they're getting done at home, they bring the disrespectfulness to you as a teacher. I just had a student threaten me because he was playing inappropriate stuff on his phone. I tried to take his phone. He wouldn't leave. So I sent him out to the office. He threatened me because I sent him out. And the dean of the school sent him right back to class, to my class. I'm up at the top with no protection. There's no one surrounding. I'm looking in the hallways, no security, no anything. And threatened me not only with himself, but with a parent. So now, not only do I need to worry about what you may do to me, I have to worry about walking to my car because I don't know what your parent is capable of in 2023. And this is just one of hundreds of experiences that I have to deal with on a daily basis with these students. They don't do any work. I'm spending all this time lesson planning and doing these fun lessons. They don't do any work. They talk. I've never heard such foul, disgusting language in my life. They do not listen. And on top of that, the district and the school is not going to back you as a teacher. The student will be back in your class within minutes or maybe the next day, but they can't do anything. There's no such thing as expulsion anymore. Kids can't get expelled, and they know that. So they know that they can do whatever they want. There's also no more school police. That does not exist. They do not have school police anymore. So at this point, I am not doing my job. I don't get the chance to teach because I'm too busy having to reprimand students who don't listen, who don't do any work, who want to threaten you if you ever even try and show a little bit of authority. Forget the lesson plan. Forget trying to teach them. Forget them trying to learn because they will threaten to call their parents on you if you take their phone or if you kick them out of class. And these kids are bigger than me. Sometimes these kids are bigger than me. So I should be afraid. And they don't check backpacks, so I don't know if this student is lying when he says that he's threatening me. I don't know your parents, so I can't call them because you just threatened me with your parent. There's no help. There's no help. So what is the point? I'm done.
Now, as a person, you know that when you go to college to learn, to get an education because you had a passion to say, I would like to be a teacher. But then when you come into modern American society, teachers have to deal with a lot. First of all, you have to deal with the politics of political groups don't want you to teach history anymore. Republicans don't want you to teach their history because their history is so horrible. They don't want nobody to know about it because if somebody know about it, they're really going to be looking at them like, why are you honoring George Washington again? Why are you honoring Andrew Jackson? What's up with all these Confederate statues? What the hell you got going on? Like y'all are some sick, demented, evil people to be worshiping them and saying this is our forefathers and, oh, these are great people. Most people say that if they knew your history, right? Then on top of that, you look at what's being prioritized in schools, right? Education is not prioritized. Also, on top of that, you have agendas being pushed in schools. Teachers got to deal with agendas, or even teachers that's a part of a different agendas. And we know what these agendas are. We don't have to really go into it. Let's say, AKA, who's dealing with an agenda? Uganda. There you go. So you got to deal with those agendas in schools. Then on top of that, you got to deal with Pookie and Ray Ray and in his offspring in the schools, right, within our own community. And, you know, they don't not around their kids. The mom not any kind of mother. So then these kids go to school, hell raising, treating the teachers any kind of way, especially bucking up to teachers that look like, you know, each other in the community, because they probably won't pull that as often with the European American teachers versus the Black American teachers. Understand? So our teachers are saying, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to have this 6'2" kid jump on me. I didn't go to school for all of that. I didn't go to school for the administrators not supporting me. You know what? I'm going to leave the profession all the way around. If I do some teaching, it'll be some private tutoring that I'm getting paid for, or I'm a teacher. You know, there's many teachers that have moved outside the United States and are teaching overseas and actually get respect overseas. They're not getting harmed. They're not dealing with agendas and political campaigns trying to tell them not to teach, right? They're not dealing with that. I've met many black teachers that have taught English in many countries outside the United States of America. Many. Teachers are not putting up with this. And then on top of that, they're not even getting paid the right way. They're not getting paid. The public school system in America, unless you live in an area where the tax brackets are high, you know, because you have to understand, America do have a caste system, a racial caste system, right? They have a racial caste system and an economic caste system all in the same country. No different than the caste system in India. Now, we know what the racial caste is. Most of us who are black know the hierarchy of that. But there's also an economic caste system as well. And in America, if you live in a high-end area, right, and the homes are certain price ranges, then you notice the schools get more resources there. The teachers are better. The opportunities for your kids are better, right? So unless you are in those areas, and usually those areas don't have the problems, let's say the area that's on the lower caste in America of economics, and they don't get the best teachers, they don't get the best resources, then you deal with the worst of the worst. So the only way you really can get a decent education, unfortunately, in America, unless you are in the high-end areas where all the resources are at. Then they want to get mad when kids want to just go to these schools. And they should go to those schools. Because, you know, you have Republicans now talking about school choice and all of that. You know what? But they're going to get mad when black children going to start going to them high-end areas and their parents will bring them over there. Then what you going to say, right?
I have never dealt with such unruly, crazy, traumatic experiences in my life. No matter how kind you are, how loving, how intelligent you are as a teacher, how cool you are, how great you dress, you are always going to have students who need to be worked on at home. And because they don't have any work they're getting done at home, they bring the disrespectfulness to you as a teacher.
But you just can't really deal with, you know, the education system here in America, because even kids who aren't learning sometimes are incentivized. You got people like Baltimore public schools where kids can't even pass a standardized test. And I'm not for black people getting remedial tests or looking at black people as remedial. No, your education system sucks. Black people learn all over the world. It's just your system sucks because it is not structured for black people anyway. It was structured for y'all, for them. So everything in this public school system has fallen apart. Every parent that I talk to, they don't want their kids in public school, or they don't have them in public school. I told y'all from the rip, I will work hours upon hours to keep my child out of public school. I don't want my kid in the public school system. And it works out a lot better when she's not in the public school system versus what's going on in the public school system. I know another family member that homeschooled, my cousins, and she's let them go back to public school, but she noticed that they weren't learning nothing. Well, learning a thing, she pulled them right back out because it was nothing but a fashion show and mess and everything else. Of course, the kids want to go back to school and public school, because they say, oh, socialization and all of that. But look, what goes on in these public schools, what kind of socialization you really going to get? Just think about that. That's why I say find a good public school, or if you're abroad, put them in a good school, if you move out the country. Because some people are considering moving out the country. You just don't realize how many people are considering that. And I say people, not just black people. I'm talking about people. Because it's just horrible. Things that is not like it used to be. Because there's no way that I would be cussing a teacher out. Man, back when I was in school, you wouldn't want the teacher to call your parents. You would want them to call you your dad. The one thing they used to say, or your mom, don't let them white folks call me on my job. That's the one thing you did not want, because boy, whew, you gonna get it. If them white folks call your mom or dad on that job and tell them to come up there to that school, oh my God, you did not want that. Cussing in school, man, you get suspended for that. You get back in the day with Saturday school, which nobody wanted Saturday school. So basically, Saturday school was when you had to go to school from 7 to 12 and just do schoolwork on a Saturday. Who wanted to go to that? You know what I'm saying? If you didn't get Saturday school, you get on-campus suspension, or you just get straight suspended for cussing. Now these kids walk around cussing all the time in school, and nothing is done about it. Like, when did that start? Like, no kid should be allowed to cuss in school. None.
I just had a student threaten me because he was playing inappropriate stuff on his phone. I tried to take his phone. He wouldn't leave. So I sent him out to the office. He threatened me because I sent him out. And the dean of the school sent him right back to class, to my class. I'm up at the top with no protection. There's no one surrounding. I'm looking in the hallways, no security, no anything. And threatened me not only with himself, but with a parent. So now, not only do I need to worry about what you may do to me, I have to worry about walking to my car, because I don't know what your parent is capable of in 2023.
But all that mess changed way after I got out. But I understand teachers. I understand you 100% why you are quitting, or why you would leave certain problematic areas and hopefully get a job in areas where you actually a little bit more supported. I understand 100% because you're doing a hard job. But let me know what y'all think what our sister's talking about here, because this is ridiculous. And even my sister's a teacher, and she told me about some of these parents. So I know exactly what this sister's talking about.